Hello everybody and welcome to Buggos 2. This is Will from Intrepid Marmot, and I just wanted to go over some of the new evolutions and the new evolution tree that we're going to have for the new free DLC update. Let's go ahead and jump right into it and take a look. You're going to see it looks a little bit different than you're used to. It's quite a bit bigger, and we've added a ton of new evolutions, as well as 3 new Buggos for you to play. In addition to the 3 new Buggos, there's also a number of travel nodes here, and many different ways to go through the evolution tree to sort of tune your build to how you desire. Let's start over here with the newest Buggo that we're going to have, which is the brain bugs. If you make it to this side of the tree and evolve the cerebral mass, you'll be able to create these new little Buggos that look like this. And they've got some pretty cool evolutions. Just getting in here, you're going to have Brooder Buggos, which gives you some more spawn capacity. And this side of the tree is mostly related to spawning things quickly, or at least a lot of them. And you'll see we're increasing our attacks per second as we get in here for all of our Buggos. And what that means is our brain Buggos have this neat little ability called mind control. It's kind of their key effect. They have a 5% chance per attack that they do to gain control of a human. And then you can increase it one more time. In addition, their big mutation, brain host, is that when that mind-controlled unit dies, 8 new brain bugs will spawn out of its corpse. And this can get ridiculous if it's in the right scenarios, where you'll just take over large swaths of the human defense. One of the other evolutions we have for these guys is the Rage Spore. Brain bugs, when they die, will release Rage Spores on death, and it increases the damage of other Buggos by 15%. Now, that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's a nice little addition, and these guys can be used sort of as a buffing unit for your other Buggos who are in melee range. And if 15% was enough, we can bump it all the way to 30 by getting another point into it. And the other ones over here are pretty average. They get faster brain bug movement speed and faster attacks. More attacks equals more chance to have a mind control go off. All right, moving on up in the very top up here, past shell hardening, which gives +1 armor and +10 health to all your Buggos. You're going to move up into the Devourer crag, which allows spawning of Devourers. And these guys look like little underground worms. Here, take a look. Devourers are interesting because it allows the player to have sort of a tactical sneaky bug. Just like the wasp can fly over walls and cliffs, the Devourer is able to path completely under the terrain. And if you get this ability, they're not able to be targeted while they're underground. So you can use this to sneak your way past maybe a laser generator or some other fortified structures and get behind them and do some sneak attack damage. Additionally, if you get Deep Burrow, they're not able to take any damage while they're under the ground. This helps you to dodge things like AoE. Some of the other cool effects I got is Delivery Boy. I really like this one. They transport swarmers in their mouths, in their stomachs. And on the first attack, they'll spawn 15 swarmers. So you get behind enemy lines and you puke up a bunch of swarmers to devastate the enemy backline. Some other nice little evolutions here, 20% damage reduction, which is pretty good. Goo Spreader. Every time they move around, they have a 10% chance to spread goo on that tile per second. And then Worm Sink. Now, this one makes all the Devourers go up and down into the ground at the same time. Now, that may not sound super impressive, but it's kind of annoying to have your Devourers not in sync, because you want sometimes to mass them up in a corner and have them all go at one time underneath a laser generator. If they're off sync, they will, half of them will get murdered by whatever, and the other half will be underground. So this allows you to send a full dedicated force out all at once. And then their mutation is the Omega Laser. At the spot that they attack, it creates an explosion in a medium radius. It's kind of like they're shooting a boom slug at their attack target. That's pretty strong. It feels good. All right, and our final contestant over here is the Leviathan. In order to get to the Leviathan, you have to get a bunch of swarm capacity, and then you got this nice mutation here, which reduces the spawn time of all spawners by 30%. And then we make it to the Leviathan Brooder, which is our new flying bug. He looks like this. Now, Leviathan's kind of an interesting spot. My goal was to make sort of a medium health tank that tanks in a different way than just having high armor. So I think one of its coolest abilities is this max hit. A Leviathan, no matter how much damage it takes, it can reduce it all to 20, and then it gets reduced by armor. So something comes in doing 200 damage and says deals 20, and then if you have 5 armor, it's actually only doing 15. And then you can get one more point into it, and then in our situation, it'd make it just a 10 damage hit. So not too bad. Some of our other upgrades are increasing the spawns, which is kind of nice. More health, plus 30 and plus 30 again. And then they can move faster. But again, the mutation that really pulls this guy together is the warrior worship. Leviathan spawn +1 warriors when they take damage. So not only that, will you have this maximum hit you can take every time you get hit, and this includes with fire. I think it's once every half second. They have a cooldown on it, otherwise it gets insane. You can spawn 1 warrior. But if you've got 3 of them together, because you're spawning 3 at a time, you know, it's 3 warriors every half a second. And that adds up pretty quick. So one might consider possibly, if you're doing the Leviathan Brooder, to maybe also spec into warriors, which is just below them. Makes it a little bit easier. And we're getting armor as we go up here. 1, 2 armor. And they get their own armor, and you might possibly go get this shell hardening one to make your warriors even stronger. I think that's a really cool combo. There's a couple other like really neat upgrades in this DLC, like Ill-Tempered. All Buggos deal +10 damage and lose 10 max health. I think this was a neat one. It'll make your people a little more fragile, but they'll start doing insane amounts of damage. I think this has a lot of potential for spawned units that come out of other units, for example, where you don't really expect them to live too long. They just need to get 1 bite off. And then another really cool one is this negative armor mutation. Armor values can now go to -10, which overall increases damage taken. So if you've got a mech or something, maybe like a tank with 15 armor, if your swarmer was going to go attack them for 10 damage, they're just taking 1. But now when you use armor shred from either the sport artillery or the spitter, you make that 1 damage go a lot farther. So instead of getting it all reduced, if they have -10 armor, they're going to deal the whole 10 damage that a swarmer would normally do, plus 10 extra damage because they have negative armor. So each bite will be doing 20 damage a hit. And, you know, say you had Ill-Tempered, it'd actually be 30 damage a hit. I'll let you guys explore the tree a little bit more when the DLC comes out, and there'll probably be a couple more little evolutions. I've got some nodes, spots hidden around in the trees that I can quickly add some things. But you let me know what you think. Please send some comments down below if there's anything else you'd like to see about the new DLC before it comes out. All right, guys, take it easy.